And now the end is near, so you will face my final episode, well, part 1 of this beloved series anyway. Let's start it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening everyone. Well, it's definitely evening here. It's February the 8th, 2020 as I'm recording this in the evening time here in the good old UK. My name is Donut Donny. To many of you, I'm also Mark Donny. And sadly, this is the penultimate episode of the Manager Sim Beginner Series, part 1. Part 2 we will refer to what the current situation the Swedish League looked like at the end of season 3, but this is part 1 of the last episodes of what we're going to do in the Italian game world in the Swedish League with Elfsborg. But in part 1 today we're not going to actually go to the game world, so please excuse me if we're actually going to do a bit of retro Manager Sim series, looking back at the previous episodes and look at particular highlights. This is no script whatsoever, so please excuse me if sometimes I go off the track or something. But this is the very first episode. This one started it all. This was done on the 29th of June 2019. This is all on my YouTube channel. These will still be used for future game worlds, I'm sure. Of course, the time I'm doing this episode, there is rumours that there might be a new game world coming soon, maybe in March, April time, and that's when the Manager Sim series might come back in a different way. And we will actually closing these windows down because my screen has been suffering a bit today with downloads. So just bear with me for a second. It's going to let me, or is it not going to let me? Come on, that's it. You can see it's a bit slow today. Yeah, so this is going to be sort of like a retro stream to show you a couple of my highlights of a couple of the episodes and how it all started. One thing you have to excuse me for when we do this retro series is that the sound is going to be not brilliant because the sound's coming directly from my TV. I could have used my other headphones, but then you can't really hear my voice very well, and in this series it's known that we don't usually have any sound in this series, but this is going to be kind of like a mini special because we will be looking at previous episodes, and so the sound will be a bit tinny, so I'll try not to speak too much in the sound. And also I better warn you that you will see two me's at times. What I mean by two me's is two cameras. I'm the real camera. Me currently, of course, is the bottom right hand corner over here, and then sometimes you'll see me 6-7 months ago on here. Not much has changed, but one thing you can see straight away has changed is my logo and stuff like that. This was my original logo, and the Bakery Crew is still the Bakery Crew. We're now more on Twitch than YouTube because I started on YouTube all those months ago. I'm now doing most of my streams on Twitch, and of course Donut Donny still stays there. The icon has changed. This is the original icon, which was a donut. There can only be one. That's kind of still my sort of like tag name, I suppose. My what do you call, subtitle type thing. Someone knows what I'm on about. But this is episode 1, so we're gonna press play again. The sound is not going to be brilliant, I'm afraid, but I think you get the gist of how it all started. So we'll show you the first sort of like 5 or 6 minutes of the actual episode, and it goes up to about 40 minutes. No, maybe less than 5 or 6 minutes. We'll see how it goes. But enjoy. This is the very first episode, and this actually got the most views. This got, as of today, 94 views, and that isn't always me doing that. I do go and checking it a few times for retro reasons, just to see how it looked like all those months ago. But it's always good to come back to all these and see what we did, because there's a lot of great content on these episodes. But this is episode 1 anyway. Let's have a look how it all started. Again, this sounds a bit crap, I'm afraid. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, and welcome to Beginner's Guide to Manager Sim, which is a free browser football soccer management game. I'm your host, Donut Donny, and I hope you will enjoy this. Now, over the years, there's been many great football management games that you can play on the PC. They include, way back into the 1980s, they include games such as Premier Manager, Tracksuit Manager, and do you all remember FIFA Manager? Yes, they even did a management game. And of course, you all should know the original famous game, which was Football Manager, which is very dear to my heart. Lovely game, that one. As we went into the 1990s, a new Football Manager game appeared, and that became one of my all-time favourite games, and that was, of course, Championship Manager. I played Championship Manager 1. I played it since 1991 when I think it first came out. It was made by Domark, who then got bought by Eidos, or Eidos, isn't it?
I'm just going to skip it a bit because I do waffle on a bit there. Let's actually move it towards the game, and the actual game is after I go through the Burnham's magazine. Remember that Burnham's magazine, everyone? We'll go through the initial first stages of the game, which is not until, crikey, 12 minutes, 13 minutes, 14 minutes, 16 minutes, crikey, there we go. We'll go up to 18 minutes where you get to this.
To find a team, you need to click on the map icon. There's the map icon there. When the country has been selected, you'll see the highest division in that country. If you see a green box, that means it's already been allocated to a human manager. If it's a different icon, then it's a team you can manage. Each game mode has certain times. These are the ticks I've been talking about earlier, and you can see when the next tick is. The next tick is in 35 minutes, which is 9 PM GMT time here today. So hopefully we can actually choose our side today, and I can again then show you the next step tonight. There is a short guide there, just explaining things a bit better. There you go. So if you get stuck, you can always go back into that. But I'll explain to you the world map, well, the European map.
Now, here's a little highlight for you. You're wondering what I was doing then. I actually wrote all this in the script. Episode 1 and 2 were the only 2 episodes out of the 60 that were actually done by scripts, because I had to write down everything you needed to know about the game through my experience. And so I was actually reading the script right in front of me, like here, and it was actually on my table. But I had to really put the script up to my eyes, because my eyesight, I can actually read better now without my glasses, which is strange, I know. But you can see there, we paused it, I'm actually looking down at my script thinking what's going to be next. And of course it's allocating teams and joining the club, which eventually would be Sweden. So we'll carry on going up the guide, because I do again waffle on. And let's see where we are now. Well, that's Germany. So, and that's Italy. I was talking about all the leagues you can apply for, and let's just bring back memories. The game date is 2007. It's 2012, something like that now. I have to remember what day it is at the moment. But so this is quite a few seasons ago. But there we go. It's Elfsborg. There's Elfsborg's first ever mention. So we go into let's come into this bit, because this is when I start then talking about Elfsborg.
Who am I going to choose? I hear you asking. Well, I hope you are.
Who are you choosing, Mark?
Choose is actually in Sweden. 14 clubs. The main club being Gothenburg, who are a level 5 team. There's only one other human manager in this league. He's at Malmo. It's Dave. Hello, Dave. He's at Malmo. He's got a very good team, I think. Yeah, not bad at all. But a side I'm going to choose.
Now, another 2 things here. One thing you notice is when I'm going through each of the screens, there's a bit of a flash.
That was a little bug that Burnham, I think, has sorted out, and it should be not doing that anymore. And also, if we, I can't really zoom the screen too much here, but if we can try my best here. Yeah, okay, it's meant to be the other way around, isn't it, this time? If we zoom the screen a little bit bigger here. So normally, hopefully you can see that better. Whoops.
Elfsborg.
Elfsborg.
Why? Because they've got
okay, hold on a second. I'm going on where I shouldn't be going on. That's it. the pause button's really small now. Yeah, that's just checking that you can see me all right. You can still see me all right. So yeah, we're going to Elfsborg. Let's just rewind that slide because it actually went a bit more than I thought. I didn't want it to go. So that's me talking. That's me talk about Malmo again.
He's at Malmo. He's got a very good team. Yeah, not bad at all. But aside, I'm going to.
There you go. That's what I wanted to do. So you can see here, this was the state of the Swedish league when I am just about to join. So Gothenburg were top the table. They went on to win it that year. Örebro, Djurgården, all the same clubs. The bottom club in those days was Helsingborg and Halmstad. Times have changed. I joined Elfsborg when they were 11th, and they're currently 9th at the moment. 9th 3 seasons later, so not much progress there. Let's see what I carry on talking about.
To choose is Elfsborg. Why? Because they've got a quite decent starting stadium, 29,000. They're level 1 side, so obviously I should not get too much pressure from the board. And let's see what happens. So I have to actually apply for the team first. If I go through the, there's the players who play. So goalies, defence, midfield, attack.
Okay, another interesting fact here. Out of all those players that started off at Elfsborg, only one player has now survived, and one player is still there. And if you can see where I'm going, it's this guy here, Kallstrom. Kallstrom is still at the club. His midfield rating is now, I think, 91 or something like that. He's the only survivor from the original squad. But anyway, I'm then talking about applying for the job. We'll then skip forward a few more, me just going through the side, and all these players basically, unless I actually go to Kallstrom, is he going to be here? That'd be interesting. No, he's not. None of these players are actually here anymore. Quite a few of these players left straight away. So that was episode 1, which was the beginning. Then we went off, and the screen's very small now because, of course, I've zoomed this out. Let's zoom this back to where it was because I can't see what I'm doing. Again, this is not a script, but it's nice to go back. We then went to episode 1.5. It was episode 1.5 because I was having internet problems around this time and I was losing connections quite often. So episode 1.5 was actually meant to be episode 2, but then, yeah. It was a bit of a mess the first couple. Oops. I deleted it by mistake. That's not good. Let's bring it back. Hopefully there it is. I accidentally deleted that. This is episode 2. Well, episode 1.5. So we'll go through. Let's pause it again because there's a lot of sounds you don't want to hear. I've actually got the job. So let's see how much money Elfsborg started off with. 85 million. Not bad. Now, one other little interesting fact. 2 interesting facts was the Elfsborg badge was put into many of the many of the episodes, but I stopped doing that after quite a while because it was actually taking space of where useful things could be, like graphics and stuff underneath. And the manager sim badge there actually eventually, as you can see on the screen now, has been moved to the bottom left hand corner. And of course the old icon got deleted and changed by my newer icon. Also, when I used to have this old webcam, I used to have sort of like a screen filter at the back, so you don't see the room as you do nowadays. I got rid of it because it did look a bit crap. I think this was done around the same, what date? Yeah, this was done an hour later on the same day actually, this episode. So let's see what I'm talking about now.
Always what it was. No, it always starts off like that. They're very pleased with our current position. They're generally satisfied with the economy. This is the board opinion, by the way. This is the one you really need to look at. When you go down, if you're not doing so well and the board opinion, general opinion gets worse and worse and worse, keep an eye on that, all right? because when they say you're on your last chance, you're going to get fired, I'm afraid. No matter, unless you do a miracle, even if you start winning games, you're going to get fired, I think.
And to be honest, that is one of the reasons why I'm ending the Elfsborg series, because my board were at one stage very close to firing me. Just make sure I look at the camera, sorry. My board were very close to firing me, and there is other reasons why I'm leaving Elfsborg, but I'll probably go through them more in episode 2. This is more of a retro stream. But anyway, me's just there warning everyone that you should do well or you get fired. And of course, during the next couple of seasons, a lot of the managers who came and joined us then got fired and joined us and fired and everything like that. So let's carry on, see what I'm talking about on this next episode.
But anyway, the company is generally satisfied. Wages, we can spend much more, which means I think the total wages for the club might be quite low. Goals this season, avoid relegation. It's a level 1 side. So where are they in the league? They are 11th, yeah. They are 2 points clear of relegation. 14 games gone this season. They've won 4, drawn 3, lost 7. They've only scored 5 goals. They conceded 12. And there is 26 games in this season. So they're over halfway.
Okay, so that's me then talking about various other things, and then this is me talking about the staff that were at the club. I think many of these are gone. Me putting money into the youth players. I did get quite good, decent youth players actually for the first couple of seasons, and it dried up a bit. I started off with 85 million, all green. That means I was making money every week when I joined the club. Then admission fees, the club stadium, which was then 29,000. Very early on, I made that stadium up to 80,000, and it is now up to 80,000. And a lot of the games I am making a lot more money, but sadly the performance on the pitch isn't very good. But look at this, all my players were up for contracts. Asked Burnham to do this for me because I wanted to get rid of quite a few of these players from an early stage, and I could free transfer a lot of these players if I wanted to. It took quite a while though to do it. And then some scout reports. You're the best manager in the world. Yeah, it's so free transfer players. And then look at England. This is England as it was in 2007, the England national team. So I was talking about the national teams. And then, of course, this is Dave was still manager of Malmo, then I was manager of Elfsborg. And that's what episode 1.5 were like. And then we had the newspaper report. My first game was a 1-0 win against Örebro. So that was good news. And yeah. So we go to our next couple of episodes now. We go to episode 2 was Elfsborg more contact deciding. We don't really need to look at that. We'll do some highlights now. If I make the screen go a little bit bigger up here. And then finding that right player was episode 3. Episode 4 was contracts catch up. Then first players joining club was in episode 5. And we had a goalkeeping crisis and they joined in episode 7. Then more contracts, episode 8. And then end of the season was episode 9. Let's have a look at it, see what the end of the season was.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening everyone, and welcome to episode 10 of the beginning series 2 Manager Sim.
So episode 10, even though it's got episode 9 there, so slight error there. Again, I'm still learning how to do this streaming because I was still very new at streaming as well and recording episodes. So this is Elfsborg now. Or April, so this was the end of the season. So this was the end of season table actually. So if you look at the end of season table from my first season, Gothenburg were the champions, and my Elfsborg side actually finished 6th, which was actually the highest ever position we finished. Because then other people joined and we got worse.
That side to make it quite good. Our match form was quite decent in the end. We did have the odd defeat, but we turned things around almost certainly. If we look at how the fixtures ended up for the end of the season, as you can see there, the league, the win against Malmo, then we won again, and then drew.
Now this was recorded on the 14th of July. This was recorded 2 weeks after episode 1. So end of season, so we had 14-15 games in late June, and then literally 2 weeks later it was end of season. So a season's roughly a month, I guess. So we'll skim through this quite quickly. I want to see what my players look like, because I'm intrigued, like you guys, how many of my original players. Is there any other original players in here? Yes, I can spot them. Ostend, he's still with us, and Kellstrom, of course, is still there. Looking further down, Angren is still with us. So there's three players who have stayed the test of time towards the end of this series. That's interesting. Okay, let's fast forward, because I know you're going to be bored by me just doing all this. There's the tactics. What tactics did I use in those days? 3-5-2. Seemed to be working then. And me just talking about various other things. So that was episode 9, episode 10. Couldn't make my mind up which episode it was. Then I had a problem in episode 10 or 11, whatever, that Elfsborg squad was too big. And that kind of happened for the next couple of seasons. We then carry on moving up. Pre-season update. We went to Europe. We didn't survive in Europe for long. More internet connection problems, hence why part 15 was in 2 parts. Again, you can always go back and see these episodes. Please do, because there's great content in here. I do like boasting. The season continues, so this is now episode 21. Let's go into let's go into this one. Elfsborg, more human managers joined. So who joined us in episode 22? And this was done 28th of August, so another 6 weeks later. Oh, we've got the old intro screen, which was done on Fiverr, by the way. And then we had...
That was, I can't put credit to that, I didn't make it. I got that off the web yesterday morning.
So I got it off the web on the 27th of August. That was used quite a while until you saw the famous Minions football, which was much better. As you can see here, the stream starting screen is still with me, but of course there's logo changes, so that's still there. We'll now go to Bury. Oh, the news about Bury being expelled from the Football League. Yes, and they officially have been expelled, sadly. No news where they're going to join yet. I think they're becoming a Phoenix club. So, but we'll go to which human managers first joined me, and it should be here. As you can see, a few did.
Is that our form has dropped. Our form has dropped due to various injuries, and also, as you might see there, we've got a couple of more friends that have joined us, which is great news. Well, maybe not great news for the club, but great news for the league. We have got a couple of more human managers. We've now got 5 human managers who have joined the beginner series. So welcome. So, and they are. If the game just loads up for me. Hold on a second. Just checking to see. Oh, there we go. Our faithful leader, I guess. The guy who brought Manager Sim back from the dead, Berhan. He's now joined Hammarby. So welcome. Hammarby are a really good side, and I think he will do very well. I'm going to see Hammarby doing. They're going to do extremely well in this league, and you can see why he's joined their side. Their side has got some really good players already. They've got a couple of hundreds there. I think Bergson is a Swedish international. What level are Hammarby? Are they level 5? So I started off. That's unusual.
So I'm just skimming forward through this because you don't want to hear me waffling about various things. Let's see who the next side is.
Helsingborg. Oh no, still got
and the game crash.
Bern, what's going on? Do you know what's going on? I can't actually view Helsingborg, which is strange. Can I view Orenburg? Yeah, Orenburg I can view. So still got Malmo. K's managing Malmo and he's doing very well.
So Örebro was at Morton. Morton was at Örebro, so that's when he joined. K joined Malmo. So guys, this is all the times when you joined and what the state of your clubs were then.
Oh, he's expanding Staines to 80,000. That's really nice. Hammarby, Burnham's managing that. Of course, we're doing Elfsborg. Örebro, which always sounds like a suite to me, and Morton's doing the same thing. He's expanding Staines to 80,000. Could we do that? I know, we just started explanation work. I think you need something like 18 million in the bank to get your stadium up there, something like that, or 60 million. And we haven't got that much. We've got 40 odd million, haven't we? Oh, 36 million, so we can't do that anyway. But I'm wondering why I can't see Helsingborg. There you go.
Yeah, that was a strange error. Helsingborg was just did not come up, so I did not know why that didn't work. So we just had to wait and see who the manager of Helsingborg was. Of course, we know who the manager of Helsingborg is, but then it just didn't work. So then I was talking about the state of the league. I was actually doing very well then. I was third in the league, and then people started joining, and then I dropped down. Blame all you guys for being crap. And so I just carried on about a league update, really. What side's this, I wonder? Is this Helsingborg? Oh no, it's just Spain, looks like it. Yeah, Real Madrid. Oh, okay. Yeah. So that was the episode 22, done on 28th of August. Let's now carry on forwarding some dates. So let's look at the other side. It's episode 24. What's this then? It's only 17 minutes long.
Back to episode 24. This is definitely a record. This is the first time we've had 3 episodes in one day. If you regard the last one was only 5 minutes long, 5 or 6 minutes long, but this is the 24th episode. And I just had to quickly delay that because the League Cup round 3 draw has just been made. Oxford, my side, we're a lower league side, so this is quite a big deal. And we managed to draw West Ham at home.
West Ham at home, who we beat 4-0 in the end. We actually got knocked out in the next round to Man City. But we did beat West Ham 4-0, which was probably our best result for a long time. So basically I'm skimming through what we did. Looks like we were going through Hammarby. Burnham was at Hammarby, of course. Talking about him. Did we finally get to see Helsingborg? That's what I want to know. There's Malmo. Örebro. Yes, it still sounds like a suite to me. Helsingborg, of course. And there's Mike. So Mike actually joined a previous couple episodes before, but this is Helsingborg as it looked like now. This didn't work again, remember? So that was the current state of the league when Mike started joining us. He'll probably say he joined a little bit earlier, but this is kind of when I first actually managed to see his side. And yeah, there we go. So we did manage to finally see Helsingborg. And this is me looking at what side? Örebro's side. Oh, nice. Okay, so let's quickly carry on going through the episodes. Anything that takes my fancy. Episode 25 was a big episode. It was 2 hours long, and it was taking place on 30th August 2019. Now, this was an interview that I'd done first with Mike, and then Burnham came in later on talking about the future of the game. So this is a game episode that I think a lot of you should still watch, because it's a very good episode and it's 2 hours long. We'll do some mini highlights here, so you'll hear me and Mike talk about the game first, and then Burnham will come later, and then we'll show a bit more of the Burnham interview. But again, this is episode 25, so please come back to this episode, because I'm not going to obviously show you 2 hours of it. We're going to see what actually happens. So let's me talk about it.
So how many years have you been in Manager Sim?
Oh,
do you think?
Neck.
Were you around the golden oldie days like me?
Yeah. There was myself, Andy Edge, and John Fowler and Dave Wilkinson. We all used to work together. So we used to have a mini league between a lot of us in Greece. And then I really upset everybody when I took over Rui Antonet's team over in Atletico.
One thing, I'll flick back to the non-Manager Sim, because I'm going to find some old Soccer Stream. Soccer Stream? Have you ever heard of Soccer Stream before?
I've never heard of a Soccer Stream. So let's carry on. There's the famous Manager Sim t-shirt that I still actually got. The other person you were hearing speaking was actually Mike Turner. So it's good to hear from Mike again. And then we'll carry on to... let's try to find what's going on here.
No.
Going to win that. But the interesting battle is going to be between positions 3 and 8. And you, maybe.
I won't be competing at all this season. I'm just stripping the team.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm trying to be positive here for you.
Yeah, Mike was rebuilding his side, and of course his side then suddenly did get better the next season because he was literally taking players out, putting new players in. So let's forward the interview. That was me talking to Mike, and then is this where no, Mike's over there. So we're still chatting to Mike. Very good interview, by the way. Again, go back to this episode if you've got time.
I think it's flair as well doesn't change. Flair and aggression are set, so they don't change no matter how much you train a player.
Okay, Mike's talking about the stats. Let's see if we can. This is now at 50 odd minutes, and it's still Mike and me. Then I think Burnham comes later on, so let's just try to skim through this. There we go. There's Burnham. So let's rewind that. Rewind. Hour and 5 minutes. Hour 3 minutes. There we go. Skim that to hour and 4 minutes. Hour and 5 minutes. Here we go.
So I'm hoping you can hear me.
I hear you guys. A bit of an echo going on, but
Yeah, turn your mixer sound off.
Okay, how about now?
That should be better.
Yeah, fine. It was fine before, to be honest.
Echo is gone. Yeah, sorry it took longer.
No, it's fine. You actually caught it at the right moment because we've just been slagging off all the other side. No, we've just been talking briefly about Manager Sim and the game, our memories. I showed some old screens, and then we gone back into the Swedish league. And you can pronounce these teams better than us now, so that's one. Because me and Mike, we weren't struggling too much, were we? About some of these sides' names, but
don't worry about it. You're doing fine. So you have Hammarby, that's my team. So you have Djurgården.
Djurgården, okay.
Djurgården. So Elfsborg. Like Elfsborg. Malmö FF. Örebro.
How do you say? Is it Örebro?
It's like
Oh, so no O.
No, it's
Oh, okay.
Örebro. Så Trelleborg, Göteborg, AIK, Helsingborg, Halmstad, Norrköping, Västra Frölunda, Örgryte, Kalmar.
It sounds so much better in Swedish.
I don't know.
Like we say Trelleborg and Gothenburg. So.
Oh, it's fine.
So that's Burnham mentioning what how do you really pronounce these sides. Let's try forward it a bit more, see what they're talking about.
Peter Strand and Martin.
The history of the game.
And the piece, what they agreed on. So I think it was something like the first payment was a bit late, the second never appeared, and they had to battle in court in France.
Wow.
So basically they're French lawyer.
So that's the nitty gritty about the original of the game. Let's skim it up a bit more.
Things visually in order to attract them. Like chess is a fantastic game if you not.
So, what is? I asked Mike this, and Mike, what was it again? Your best memory?
Oh, going back to when myself and 3 work colleagues used to play together. You've got Andy Edge, who plays the game now, and John Fowler and Dave Wilkinson. We used to just have an inter-office competition in the Greek League, and that's how myself and Andy really started playing the game.
And because I wanted to remind Burnham about that, because guess what, Burnham, my biggest memory was, the one that always keeps coming back to me, was now you have to remind me which game world did I become Milan's boss first time? Can you remember?
That's the Pledgers World.
Yeah.
That's the game we won.
Do you see what I'm getting at here? I beat you in the Champions League, my Milan side, and it was your side, wasn't it? Can you remember that?
PSG,
you were PSG, that's it. And it's now ironic that I'm the PSG manager in Game World 1. So, I
was the manager of PSG in Game World 1. But that's another story. So we'll carry on with this special episode 25. That's an hour and 16 minutes. Burnham came into the chat about just over an hour if you wanted to bookmark that area. So let's see what else he was talking about.
Nowadays, you basically you could scout another team and they will give you
I was thinking, we normally lose against Strasbourg and then we beat them 3-1 at Strasbourg.
It's a bit too much for my liking.
GNER.
I had a John Pierre Donny. I asked Berhan if I could put another player in there, and he was called John Pierre Donny, and I kept him actually. He was actually turned into a really decent striker at PSG. Like,
My team going, and I said it would be 2 or 3 seasons before I'm competing with.
So Burnham stayed with us for about half an hour, which was really good which was really nice of him. He basically first told about the history of the game, and then we had a chat about the game, and then he gave some future, what he might be doing with the game in the future, which is going back now. It'll be interesting to get your opinions, guys, what you think. Again, this is a good, really, out of all the 60 episodes, this is definitely one of them that you should really go back to and listen to again, because this is a good, really good episode. So that was episode 25, which is actually the longest episode of the whole series, nearly 2 hours long, for various reasons. We then move straight over to episode 26. In episode 26, more managers joined, and this was filmed 31st of August, the next day actually, so I was quite busy in those days.
overnight in the UK. It's a nice beautiful day at the moment here. What actually happened is that we've got a couple more managers now coming in to join us. So in theory we've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 managers have now joined the Swedish League, so we've still got room for another 5. And I'll briefly go and look at those sides and see what potential they've got and say hello to the new managers. And also we've got one major cup announcement to make as well, but I'll do that later. So Burnham, if you're watching this, don't get rid of these forums please, because they're needed. So the new managers that have joined, we've just had some transfer activity for many teams. Many sides are now rebuilding their sides, obviously, so this season's a bit of a full season. It'll be next season when, and maybe a season after that, where it'll be interesting to see how all these sides will get on. But as you can see, excuse me, we've had a couple of more green managers coming in. Green, I mean by these icons here. So in a typical match of the day style, we'll go into, as Dave has pointed out, I'm turning to the Gary Lineker of these YouTube videos. If I was playing as good as Gary Lineker, that'd be great. But sadly, my football career was pretty crap. So what new sides have we joined us? Well, the new managers have joined us. There's 3, I think, have actually joined us, and we'll start with Kalmar, the bottom side. So this is the ultimate challenge. Zay, thanks for joining us.
Of course, we all know this is Fritz. Fritz, one of the best managers in the Manager Sim world. He knows how to make a side unbeatable. This is when he took over Kalmar, and next season Kalmar become the champions. I rest my case. Got to look, my microphone's down there. I've got to look at the camera more, don't I?
You're at Kalmar. You've only just joined. Yeah, you only just in real life. Is it IFK Gothenburg?
Luis at Gothenburg. Now we kind of found out later that Luis, I think, was another Fritz account. Luis stayed with us for about a season, and then I think he left. Well, I think it was another Fritz account. I might be wrong. And then the next club was Dave at Trelleborg. So Dave went to Trelleborg, and now he's at a different club, which I completely forgotten where he's at. And so yeah, a couple more managers then joined us. The big thing we were doing here was, I'm trying to find it, was we used the forums because we were going to announce the Donut Cup. The Donut Cup was a very new cup that I was going to do, which was going to be done in pre-season, and it became very popular. I put some rules in here which eventually they ended up not working, but that's a different story. And so that was 26 when the Donut Cup was mentioned. That was done 31st of August. And then 27th of August, this was actually a live episode.
another screen, which I've done today.
If I go back to here, you'll see it in a minute. That was the first indication of the Minions football screen, which is still used now. And then you see the actual Beginners Series screen, which was done for a couple of episodes, actually about 20-30 episodes I think, the Elfsborg Stadium and the Swedish flag. And what we did on this was a special episode. This is another episode which I think you guys should really look at. It had 29 views, I hope it should do more. It's done the 4th September. I actually went into Wikipedia and gave it a history about Elfsborg. And I looked also on the world map to show you where Elfsborg is. It was there. So right there. Yeah, I like doing it. And then I walked around the stadium. So there's Elfsborg Stadium. It's always fun to do this. Also, you can see here the new icon was being used here for the first time, the donut icon. And so I was walking around the stadium. And then I was talking about the league again. And then the bakery crew. Oh god, there's a picture of me. And there's a donut cup being drawn, I think. Drawn live, which was a great laugh. And that's where we had 8 clubs in the donut cup then. We then carried on going up the episodes. For the next couple of episodes, the donut cup was being mentioned a lot. Episode 31 was the mess of the rules, so we got rid of the rules. I won't go into that too much detail. And then the donut cup actually featured heavily for the next couple of episodes after that, right up to episode 36, where I think it was the final group games. And then episode 37 was the cup semi-final upgrade, and then episode 38 was the donut cup and also the league. So the league was carrying on going strong. Update of the leagues has carried on. And then episode 40 here, which was done on 25th September.
Good morning, afternoon, evening everyone, and we're coming straight back with episode 40 of the Manager Sim Beginner Series, and this episode is the third one I'm doing today, which is 25th of September 2.
So it's just me, and it was me basically saying who was winning the Donut Cup. The finals between AIK and Trelleborg. My Elfsborg side surprisingly got into the semi-finals, which we lost to Trelleborg. And AIK under Fritz moved from Kalmar to AIK, who then also became champions, won the cup in Trelleborg. We were hoping to carry on doing this Donut Cup for a couple of seasons, but I ended up not doing it anymore for various reasons. So AIK won the only ever Donut Cup, and then this is the new feature. Burnham sent me some screenshots of a possible new look Manager Sim, which was very interesting to look at. Again, for episodes 40, I think 40, 41, 42, you'll see a lot more of these screenshots, so it's good to look back at all this. So that was me saying goodbye to the Donut Cup, which actually was very well. And then that was the rest of that. We then carried on with a couple of more episodes about the Swedish League, end of the season. And around this time I was starting to have thoughts about carrying on the season or not, for various reasons. My side just wasn't doing well. And then we went into the 50s, where we literally are now. And yeah, one thing you notice in this play system is that it starts at 53, but then you have to go right to the bottom and do the rest. And then the final episode, which was Elfsborg Back from the Dead, which was a special I did just a couple of days ago, which is a really nice one to do. But episode 59 was when I announced the end of the series, and then on Facebook a couple of days ago I was announcing that the end of the season, of the current season, would be the last of the Manager series as it is. If we go back to my YouTube page, there you go, my channel. Again, you can find all the Manager Sim episodes here. So under the created playlists, and then if you move this little arrow down here, actually I think I might be in my headshot. My webcam is directly in the way of that, right? But behind my webcam there'll be a little arrow, and you'll move it along and you'll see the Manager Sim Beginner Series, and you just click on the name.
and then you'll hear the latest episode, which would be 53 there, but in fact it should be 60 down here, but it's not working correctly. And then you'll see all the episodes. So again, today was just a retro of the previous episodes we had. I had a lot of fun doing these 61 episodes. And then part 2, which will be a back to normal, slightly shorter episode, will be done at the end of the current season, just to give you a final look back at what the season happened after all the league games and after all the internationals who won and stuff like that, and a fond farewell to the series. We will hopefully, well, I will hopefully bring the series back if we have a new game world. The game will be done slightly different. It won't be done as a beginning series. It'll be just done as me managing whoever I'm managing and seeing how we're getting on. So this will feature all European leagues, and I think it's going to be a more up-to-date database as well, which will be interesting. I don't know who I'm going to go to because the game hasn't even been created yet. It'll probably be created sometime in March, April time. But anyway, I'm going to end this retro episode 1, so I hope you enjoy it. And again, this has brought me a lot of fond memories, but I feel it's now time to finish the Elfsborg series. And please look back at these previous episodes. They are there for all you to watch. The ones I recommend are definitely the first couple of episodes, episode 25, the special, and 26, which is a special episode as well. You can look back at the Donut Cup and then all the last couple of episodes. But there will be one more episode to go, and that'll be part 2 of this series, and that'll be the end of the series. It's just a look back on the league. So this is Donut Donny signing off. Goodbye.